Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm back with you today with some Christmas cards. Time's getting on now, it's the middle of September and I thought I'd best get started with some festive cards. So these ones I've got for you today are using Graphic 45's Deck the Halls papers. I showed you what I got with which papers I got in the last video, and in that time also the ephemera collection arrived as well, just this little packet which is all the little cutout pieces, so I'm going to use those today as well. So with the papers and those, these are the cards I've made. So I'm calling them the swing pop out card, and I got my inspiration from Sam Calcott. She's got a great channel, lots of ideas there, so I've tweaked them a little bit to suit my papers and my style. But if you pop over to her channel, she's got masses there of inspiration for you. So the way they work is they're a frame, but they swing out like so to create this stand-up pop-out card. You've got lots of real estate, as they like to call it, lots of space for you to be able to put your die-cut pieces, so it works well with the ephemera collections. So you could do this with the Halloween ones, what's the C ones, under the sea ones that has just come out, I've forgotten the name now, from Graphic 45, but really any papers that you've got would look fantastic in this way, especially if you've got either fussy cut or ephemera pieces to use. So it's quite a unique design, and like I say, inspired by Sam's design. This is the back. I've added paper to the back of mine and an area to write, and I've also added paper in here. So that's the first one in the green themes, which I did with a team that up with a pale blue card, and this one I did with the dark blue card. This one stands the same. It's got the nutcracker and the baubles and fir cones, and on the back it's snowflakes. So they really are a great idea, because they're not going to knock over on your mantelpiece at Christmas, so whoever receives these are going to be quite happy, because you know you get those floppy cards that you're forever having to stand up. These are pretty sturdy. They're 6x6s, so I'll show you how to make them. So I've wrote the instructions here. So for the 6x6 inch card, you need a 10.5 by 6 inch piece for the base, and you need to score it at 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10, and that'll give you a 1/2 inch tab. So I've gone and ahead and done that, 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10, and I'm just going to burnish those folds now. So let's get rid of that a second, put that there. So this is a great way to make one of those swing cards without it getting too complicated, because sometimes I find it is if you've got to start using your knife to cut and I'm never sure which bits I'm cutting right. So this way is a great idea. So I've popped some tape on there already, and I'm going to pop a little bit of glue too. So let's pop some glue down there. There we go. And if you fold that over, get that in position, that should fold together nicely. Just make sure you're level for starters. There we go. Burnish that down on your sides like so, and that then will make your piece that you're going to add your card to. So we can pop that aside for a second. Bring the instructions back in. Now for the frame, you need a piece that is 6x6 of cardstock here, just to make your papers a bit more sturdy. And I've done, this is where I've altered, I've put a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 piece on top, because I like that outer frame on mine. When I first did it, I cut it just slightly smaller, which is on this blue one. You can see I've got a very thin border, and then I decided to make a bit more of a border, because I like the layered look of that. On Sam's, she cut hers exactly 6x6, so you've got the option of all three of those there, whichever one you want to do. And then what I've done is, because you need to die cut or cut an element from the centre, but I want to make the most use out of the card and paper that I've got. So I put a tiny little piece of glue off my tape runner on the back, and get this in position where I want it. So I want to line that up, and it's ready then to die cut. Now, from this you need to cut a 4.5-inch square out of the middle of this to make a frame. So I am using these square dies. These are a Gemini Crafter's Companion one, and this is the 4.5-inch square that I've got. I am slightly different on my measurements than Sam, so you can do yours whichever size. So I've got 4.5 there, and this one is a 4-inch. So let's pop along now and get that sorted. So I'm going to pop my 4.5-inch frame in the centre. So let's stick that down, and I'm just going to run mine through the die cutting machine now, so I will be back. So I've popped that through the die cutting machine now. It cuts through both of them. This is why I didn't want to stick the papers together, because I want to have these two pieces here to use again. It doesn't matter that I've not got the middle there, because I'm going to stick over it. So these are what I want. So I'm got my frame, and I want to now I've got it just like that, I want to stick that down. So let's pop this on. I'm just using some wet glue here, some tacky glue, to stick this down. Make sure we've got that enough on there. And because you know which way around it's come off your die cutting machine, it'll fit back on perfectly, and you've got your little border all ready to go. So while that's like that, I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. So next up, I have got, just rub that out of there because I've got some glue on that. I have got this. Now, that's why I didn't want to waste the card. So from your instructions, you now need, from the waste card, to cut the swing piece, and I'm calling this part the swing piece. This element here, this square, you want to cut a piece which is 4 by 4 inches through the paper and the card. Now I'll tell you why in a second. So just pop those back together again, and we want to pop this on here. Now you can either do it one at a time, or you can do them separately. So I'm going to cut mine now, and I'm going to decide whether I like this side actually, or I like that side, and I think I'm going to go with a contrast. So I'm going to use that side. So I'll go and die cut those and come back to you. Now the main thing you want to remember is, definitely on this card piece, you want to, I've already cut, I did decide to cut them separately, so I've cut this one out. On the card piece, you really want to make sure you get it central, so your concentration really needs to be on making this outside frame even when you put your die on, and you've got this piece as well. Now these two are going to get stuck together. That's going to give them some stability, so let's do that now. And because you're carrying through that green card colour, or whatever colour you decide to use, it looks more professional, because everything, when it flips over, it's neat on the back. It's not a upside down pattern or of the paper. It'll be nice and neat. It's your green cardstock. And even if you haven't got square dies, and you can use really whatever size, it doesn't have to be spot on, as long as this piece will fit inside your frame. If I show you that now, as long as there's a gap, as you can see around the outside, you could do a 4-inch and then a smaller one inside. It's entirely up to you. So we've now got this piece stuck together. Get rid of the die. And I've also got this frame. Now this is my version of I've altered, like I say, the tutorial bit, because I wanted to add this in. So I'll show you where I use this in a minute. So we've got that. Let's move on. Okay, so we've cut the waist card and we've got the 4 by 4 inches. You also need some panels. So you need panels for the back, 2 1/4 by 5 3/4 times 2. That's those in card. Then you need 2 by 5 1/2, one of those in paper, which is that one, and one of the same measurement in white card, which is for the sentiment. And at the back, I've got what I'm calling the hidden panel, which is 2 by 4. Also my addition there, I like this for the back part. So if I just pop that on the screen there a second, if you do want to screenshot it, there you can for the measurements. Right, let's go with this then. So bringing our card back in, we're going to stick these elements together now. So as you can see, this is a 6 by 6 and this actually measures 5 by 5. So when they're stuck together, you're going to have this 1/2 inch overlap on the outside. So all you need to do is, on the left hand side, you just need to put a bead of glue around the outside. So I'm going to do that now. You could use tape if you wanted to as well. But I quite like the glue at this point because it gives you a little bit more wiggle room. Just for getting it stuck on straight. Let's pop that around there. And this is the seam where I joined the card together. Then all I'm going to do is pop my frame on the top, making sure it's level at the top and the bottom. And while it's still gluing, I'm going to flip it over and get it straight. So let's get that central there. Flip it back. There we go. Make sure we're in the centre. Make sure these are stuck down, which they are. And now your card is just attached by that side piece. So you can see there, it's just stuck on. Let's give it a chance to stick actually. There we go. It's just stuck on that outside frame. So there we go. Let's get that tidied. Okay. So while that's gluing and drying, let's stick these two pieces of paper together. So I'm going to use this on the back as well. Get my glue going. There we go. I'm going to stick that panel down on here. That's got a nice little border. So we can stick that down and let that get dry. Make sure it's level. And then I'm going to do the same with this piece. Let's pop this one on. I'm going to stick that one down just like so. Okay. Happy with those? Pop them aside, let them dry. Now at this point, this is where you want to attach your contrasting colour. You could have either used separate papers, the back of the paper like I did, it's entirely up to you. So that's how I'm going to have mine. I'm going to decide which way around I want my, that way I think. Now, for the frame you glued the left hand side, and for the panel you're going to glue the right hand side. So you just need to eyeball halfway on your panel and add glue to that side. So I'm going to just pop glue down here. Give myself quite a generous bit of glue because I want it to hold on. And I'm going to centre that within the frame. So just eyeballing that I've got white or whatever colour card you've decided to use all the way around that, and then give it a good stick down. You don't want to stick past the join here. Give that a really good press down and let that grab. And once it does, it will work in opposite directions, giving you your swing element, like so. So flip it over and we can then add on our panels on the back. So I've got this one for my sentiment. So we'll pop that one. It's up to you which side you want to pop it. And you could have 2 sentiment panels on here. So if you've got quite a bit to write, or you've got something you want to stamp a verse on, then you could do 2 white panels here instead of one which has got the pattern paper on. It's entirely up to you. Let's get that one down. Which way up is that? That way. Put that on there. There is that one. And I have got, what have I got here? I've got a tiny, just to tie the images in, I have got a tiny little heart here with the papers that I'm going to stick at the top of there, just to decorate that sentiment panel, like so, just to finish the back off nicely. And that heart's made out of little candy canes. That looks cute, like so. So that's the back. So we're back to the front now, and also we are back to this frame. What I've done to save wasting, because I like to use all the paper and card, as you can see how I've cut it, I like to trim diagonally at one corner and then at the other. And all I'm going to do, trim that bit off there, call that one. I like to frame this part because I think that really adds to it. See how it suddenly pops that section out. And they don't have to join because you've done them diagonally, so it kind of looks like a feature. So I'm just using my dotty tape runner for this. So I just pop some, oops, dotty glue on there, and I bring that in, pop it in the corner like that, and get that along that top edge, and see how it just gives it a really finished look. And then on this one I'm going to do the same. Like so, and I'm going to use that one on this corner. So pop that into the corner, then add that along the bottom edge and along there. And rather than doing that with glue, unless you've got your little thin glue out, it really makes that a less than, it's not a messy experience doing it that way. There we go. Let's just pull that in slightly because I think I'm over slooping out a bit. That's better. That's better. Okay, there we go. And that really helps to make that card look very layered. So now it's just down to decoration. So I've got out of the ephemera pack these items. So I've got a poinsettia here. I've got this piece. Let's just get those spare card little bits out. And same on this one. This is, I've got a red nutcracker this time. Now the thing to remember on the card is you can decorate on the pieces that pop up. So you can decorate here, but not this side or it'll get caught in it. And you can decorate on this edge, but not catch. So if I show you on here, I've decorated here because this piece pops out, and here so that it doesn't catch. You couldn't stick on this part, you know, you have to stick on the frame at that point. So anywhere on this edge and anywhere on the frame edge you could decorate. So let's go with that. Now what I've got is the sentiment. I've got a big sentiment on this one. Now I like that on there, but I also like it with a bit of white behind it, just to bring it off there, and a bit of green behind that. So this is, this is an addition that I've popped on mine. So the piece is on this one 2.5 squared, and then I have got a just over 2-inch square on the top using those dies, and I've added a little bit of foam tape just to give that a bit of height. Let's get them off if we can. There we go. Pop those on. Okay, so I'm going to stick that to the back of the card. Oh, the glue's now running out. Let's pop that on. And I'm going to pop that at a bit of an angle here. Follow the lines of the fold that you can just see up above. Now, a lot of this will be covered, but I like it for the layers. And I'm going to pop my sentiment onto the top of that. I'm going to give that and I think that just adds to it there. Really draws your eye to that centre. I've got my little nutcracker, so I'm going to stick him down that edge. So let's pop some glue down there. I've got a lot of glue down there actually. Always comes out fast when you don't want it to, doesn't it? So let's slide him in. I only want him sticking on that candy cane panel because he's got to be able to move. And there he moves, see? So you can bring him out a bit more if you want to. Just a touch. There we go. So I like where I've got him. And then I've want a bit from this top edge. So I think I'm going to combine those two together and pop them up there, I think. So should I combine them now? Yeah. So I'm going to combine them with some foam tape, I think. Foam tape, tape runner. And to do those, I think like that. Get rid of that leaf. And I'm going to add them like that, I think. That's it, like that. That makes me a nice corner piece. Now you've got to remember when you do this corner piece as well, that you don't come too far over because you want it to fit in your envelope. So let's pop that like that. And I'm going to stick mine on that corner. I'm going to come in a little bit more, I think. Just a touch. As long as it doesn't overlap with this this one, you've got enough manoeuvrability there. I can even add that leaf back in there. Add a little bit of interest in there. Let's do that. There we go. I like that. Okay, that's great. Do I want any more on it? No, I think I'm quite happy. Or do I like that? No, I think I'm quite happy with what I've got there, to be honest. Do I like it with? Do I like it without? I'm going without. So I'm going to add some gems to that. Just get my gems out. I've got some gold gems here. Because why not? It's Christmas, and if you can't add some gems on, when can you? And of course you can add glitter. I won't add this glitter now because I'll probably put my fingers in it. But there you go. There is your pop. Oh, and the thing that I have forgotten is this piece here. Now when this opens up like that, I wasn't keen on this white panel here. So this spare piece that we cut, the 2x4, I'm going to just add that in at the side. Now you can trim the edge if you can see it. So pop it in. And if it's a little too big for you, slice off this edge. If you can see it behind your panel. It just depends where you've stuck your panel in. There, mine's hidden. You don't want to see it when you open it. There you go. It should be just behind there. And the wet glue just allows you just to manoeuvre it. So that now when you open it, you've got that lovely finished look inside. Lovely on the outside, lovely on the back, and it stands up perfectly. So I hope you've enjoyed that video and this style of card. They work so well with Graphic 45's ephemera and papers. You could do this in all sorts of collections. It don't just have to be Christmas. I have had glitter to these as well. I'm not quite sure whether you can see the glitter. Can you see the glitter? Maybe not, but I'll add some glitter to that one afterwards. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and a like, and if you could subscribe, that would be fantastic. Thanks to everybody who has already subscribed. I'll link to a playlist at the end of this video for my other videos if you are interested in seeing some more card tutorials and gift boxes and other things. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!